So I have just published this new blog post about why I kept a bar of soap for 30 years, and it has everything to do with my daughter's birth. You can find the link on my website. I'll put it in the stories. I started writing this blog before Christmas. I wanted to address the current situation in maternity care, the birth stories that were in the media and the headlines. And my first attempts at writing about this were actually all around the statistics, the rise of intervention, staff shortages, inadequate services, rise in birth trauma. But I felt it didn't actually get to the main and most important parts. Because looking at those statistics ignores how important birth is. The experience we have of giving birth stays with us, and how we are treated during that time and in pregnancy and postnatally is really important, and it affects us. And as people, as parents, it affects our relationships with our babies. It's really fundamental, and that gets forgotten about when we are only focusing on the statistics. I would like to thank some of the media for really highlighting this, but it does also mean that pregnant people are living through this time with all these, with not only the current situation, but all these stories. And some of the commentary is not helpful. When headlines or commentators demonize both home birth and interventions, and women choosing caesareans, when stories are portrayed like as midwife versus doctor or midwife versus doula, that's gaslighting. And gaslighting is something that is a key part of birth trauma. So it's like we're being traumatized all over again. And when women are blamed for being too old or too fat or too posh to push, rather than blaming that chronic underfunding and defensive practice that like flies in the face of evidence or how the body works, that's gaslighting. Women, midwives, doulas, we're a triad, a collective that goes back to the dawn of time. Dividing us is a tactic. It's like a stroke of patriarchal power designed to keep the focus away from the system, what the systems are doing to us all. And doctors are harmed too. Imagine the difference between a labour ward with like a 25% caesarean rate and most births being straightforward and handled by midwives, which is where we were 10 years ago, to a unit that has a caesarean rate of over 50%, and where more than half of people don't go into labour themselves. They're either induced or have a planned caesarean, which is where we are now. Just think about those two scenarios, how busy they are, what the stress would be like for the staff working there. If we don't want to talk about that, that's gaslighting. When the nation spends more on litigation claims against maternity care than on that care, that's a systemic problem. That's a crisis. When more than half of maternity units are considered unsafe, then that's a dangerous systemic problem, a crisis. When midwives are working beyond the point of physical safety without breaks, which we've seen in the news this week, and actually those of us who know about it, been banging about it for the last how many years, then that is a dangerous systemic problem. It's a crisis. And this crisis is not the result of home birth, of doulas, of women choosing a caesarean birth to protect themselves from physical and mental harm. It's not the result of midwives pushing a normal birth agenda. It is not the result of women wanting too much. Don't gaslight me. Don't blame women, midwives, doulas, for trying to mitigate the damage. Listen to us. Listen to those giving birth. Listen to midwives, their knowledge, their skills, and their research. There's lots and lots of research around how you can have a safe birth that also helps it to be positive and without trauma. The current system we have is based on falsehoods around what makes birth safe and on power and patriarchy. And it undervalues, and it's based on an undervaluing of women, their needs and their skills and knowledge. Listen to us. Don't gaslight us. The system needs to change.